Gotcha on my titty.
You want some of that titty milk?
Yeah, it's nice and voluptuous.
We're gonna get kicked. This is gonna get bad now.
It's gonna go into Rumble. That's all it is.
That's how I messed it up.
Welcome to a new exciting episode of Whiskey
Tobacco Fellowship.
Thank God y'all didn't see the other video we done because we've done a little bit of this already. And
so extra practice for the viewers.
Yeah, we are sorry about this when we don't have our best buddy Devin with us.
Yeah, where's he at?
Some people are not as bougie as we are, so we can't take a trip to just bowl in New Orleans.
Yes. So by the way, that's where we're at. We're in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
I know, we're in enemy territory.
Yeah, we are.
Fans right here.
I know, it's Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
That's right. That's right. Today, though, we have some very, very bougie cigar and a very bougie whiskey.
Yeah. The fact that we already have the cigars lit means that we already had done a little bit of a previous episode, but that is okay. We're going to start off strong and get back into it because we
actually already started off strong. That's what it is.
Yeah, start off strong.
It's going to keep on going.
It got something in my mouth. Anyways, we are smoking the Padron Black today as a meaningful body Maduro cigar with Nicaraguan filler. It is a dark, like almost
robust
espresso.
Oh gosh, yes.
Sweet notes of like coffee in there, but it's a great, fantastic cigar.
If for the normal like Padron smokers, it's like I feel like the Padron Black is just a double intensity of a normal Padron, and it is honestly one of my favorite smokes of all time.
Yes.
This cigar is coming in about $40, and I hate spending more than $25-$30 on a cigar because at that point I feel like starting to get to the point where it's not really worth the money.
Right. There's a diminishing return as far as cigars, and I think for me and you both that $30 is pretty much our max. Unless we just have a wanting to get something very rare or limited release.
Yes.
Similar to limited release is what we're drinking today, which is
going to be the Box Celestial. This is part of their Box Extinct Blends Quartet. So there's 4 bottles in this series, and so the box here shows the 4 different kind of symbols of each of the bottles these are. So the one we're having today is the Celestials, which is going to be, of course, the sky on this emblem. You have
the like a Zeus.
Yep. You have the Delos, which is going to be kind of like your people, your humanity, essentially. You have your water, which is going to be the aquamarine, and you're going to have the Metropolitus, which is going to be, of course, your city, your civilization,
like Rome.
All of it, and each bottle is like Compass Box always does, is a work of art. So please tell me and describe to the viewers about this bottle.
This bottle is a beautiful, kind of a halfway between a squatty bottle and a wine bottle. Has a white label up top with the the whiskey maker on top, J.W. Saxon. The front of it has a label of like an ethereal clouds, like you see like a Mount Olympus before, something like that. That has that kind of feel to it.
Wow!
And then it has a gold like emblem, raised like coin impressed into the glass that has each of the 4 symbols of the quartet on there. Very well done bottle, nice hand feel, and that's the thing with Compass Box is all of their bottles are works of art.
Yes,
you could pretty much buy all of their bottles, empty them out, and put them into a display, and they're art by themselves. Just the empty bottles.
I personally never get rid of any bottle, especially any of the LEs. Because I usually have them stored up. I may throw in some decoy whiskey in there, just so that I could.
How many times have you got me with that?
Well, I always spoil you.
Oh, well,
and Devin too as well.
At the end of the day, whiskey's whiskey, and I will never turn down free whiskey.
Now, Sir Robert,
if someone doesn't have refined,
maybe he might have gotten it.
Us,
yeah. But I want to make sure that it kind of looks the part a little bit when on the shelf, but it's beautiful bottles, man.
It's a gorgeous statement piece, and thank you to Martin's Fine.
There's Martin's Wine and Liquor and Deli. And by the way, do not sleep on the deli part. We didn't. and we
they're
loved it.
fantastic. They have wraps, sandwiches, they have pastas, tuna salad. The list goes on, and I don't think we had one single miss out of the deli there.
No,
and you can shop your whiskey while you wait for your food, and then you can go buy you some whiskey, then get your food,
or buy a bottle of wine, pop the top, and eat your food right then and there. I mean,
it's an awesome shop.
Outdoor patio. Oh man,
it's right here in what was it? Baton Rouge.
Yeah, it's Baton Rouge.
Their prices as far as their liquor is by far outstanding, and probably some of the lowest I've ever seen. And they happen to have this and a good bit of Compass Box Celestial, especially as far as the LEs.
Yeah,
they had four I know of special edition. No, actually five of them. He wound up getting what, three of them?
4 of the 5.
One you might already have, but yeah, 4 out of 5.
Well, 4 they had. I buy too many Compass Boxes. I think I might have on accident bought it. I can't remember if I passed it on. But
at the price that he got it though, it's good to have a backup bottle of some of these bottles if you can afford it, because one of the worst things is getting a limited edition bottle and being afraid to open it because that's the only bottle.
Oh yeah.
Typically that you'll ever find or get, and that's just.
Hey baby,
yeah, if you heard that, it was a loud motorcycle, and they have a small, you know what. Anyways, we're going back to the subject. We're saying if you can buy a backup bottle of any of your favorite whiskeys, do it. I think it kind of just frees you up to be like, yeah, I'll give you a pour of that. I'll give my buddy this. I'll drink some of this there and there, because
it gives you a better excuse to be able to pull it off the shelf.
Exactly.
Like for instance, I had a Baker 13, and I had the lucky opportunity to be able to seed 2 of them, and I ended up buying 2 in a period of time, I should say, not
time. Oh yeah.
So we got one at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
Ooh,
and
yes.
when I was bourbon hunting down in Sarasota, I found another one for a pretty decent price. So I bought both of them, and and all the buddies, I brought that a couple times to a couple of gatherings, and we killed it.
I mean, as you should. I think one of my favorite Compass boxes that I own personally is the Canvas, which is another beautiful bottle.
Yes.
And it's one of their higher end bottles on the mid tier, I guess you could say. It's not really a LE.
So like I can go ahead and explain to you a little bit too about the Compass box and how like anybody who's out there, I would love. I'm a Compass box enthusiast. Anybody that has any kind of love for Scotch, I would really, really strong them. Anybody who even doesn't, is try to push them towards some Compass box series and a couple of their stuff. So in the beginning, basically you have 3 kind of tiers, and now there's kind of 4 tiers, I would say now at this point. The first tier that they have 2, they have like a Glasgow, I think it's something, and they have the Artist Point too on there. So both those are the 2 like low end ones.
Is good. I like the Glasgow.
Yeah, so the Glasgow can be a little bit more peatier, but those are all entry level stuff. So it's like if you you gotta find the right price point on some of those. Some places can be a little high, but anywhere from 35 to 45. I've seen it as 55, but
that's their lower end. But I think it's still quality products.
Yes,
just not as I say complex, but overall good. Then you start going to that mid range, slightly upper. So you got like the Hedonism and the Canvas. Well, Hedonism now because it got that's a yearly.
So basically, so the next level up is going to be their 4. Usually always can be 4, sometimes it's rotating 4, but it's going to be 4 of their signature line essentially. It's going to be, so this right now is going to be Peat Monster, the Orchard, and the 2 new ones they have Nectaroxy. Man, so that's
a hard word if you can't speak.
Yeah, for real.
Us peasants, we can't speak.
For real.
But it's a beautiful bottle.
And then the other one was the Crimson Cast.
Crimson Cast, which is probably honestly my favorite looking bottle of the new releases. It's just all dark red. It's beautiful. But we cracked open that Crimson Cast one last night. It was quite pleasant. I think it's willingness to have a own episode by itself.
Yes.
And honestly, I think we should ask you to start doing a Compass Box series with some of these releases. I think that'd be fun to kind of go through their one bottle from the low end, one bottle from the mid, high, and then
of course, that's what we're here for, man. We're here for reviews.
If we get an excuse to drink more whiskey, I mean, I think we're all
so. Compass Box, their next tier of lines that they have is going to be your LEs. Basically, their normal version of LEs, which we're all really more accustomed to.
Right.
And those are going to be kind of like your Peat Monster Cask Strength, which was a variation of it. They're now going to be their Hedonism annual release series. They're going to be doing like the ones just recently I just got would have been like the Secrets of Smoke.
Oh yeah, it was
that
a
one's
beautiful
going to be
bottle. It's
very,
like a
very beautiful
mysterious
and
black bottle.
Oh, and then just a quick little thing about it. So they even have like they don't tell you anything about it. If you look at the label, they have like some of the lettering is highlighted, like really darkened by the print. So if you go and read it, it's like a secret message.
It's like a code breaker. You're trying to find out what the secret code is.
So again, like I said, like
we struggled last night because we were reading it at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and we started adding in additional letters that weren't supposed to be there, and it was a bad night, but also a good night because
it took us more time than it should have.
Yes,
but it's so cool.
Back to the cigar that we're smoking today. We're probably about a quarter of the way in on this cigar. It still has that rich woodsy note to it, but the sweet undertones that it brings out, almost like caramel. Weirdly caramel, like a dark caramel, almost
molasses-y maybe.
Yeah, molasses.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
But you get the espresso, and it's a fine rolled cigar. I think if you're a fan of like the 1926, you would probably like this cigar with slight differences. But I think this is an easy. If a fan of a non-Maduro smoker, this is the cigar for you. Typically, you probably like the Sungrown or the Connecticut's. So if you want to get into Maduros and you're willing to spend just a little bit more to get a quality cigar, I think the Padron Black is the way to go.
At $40, this is my almost go-to special cigar. If not, like just hanging out with some buddies and having a really good just catch up. These are some of my favorite cigars, and I almost never ever say a $40 cigar is worth it. This is where I start to say this is definitely worth that $40 price point, because you just know you're guaranteeing yourself in an absolutely phenomenal
with this
smoke.
This aged Nicaraguan tobacco in it.
Complexity too. Oh. I mean, you're talking about because everybody loves Padron typically. I don't think I haven't met.
I think it's I probably would say it's probably one of the biggest brands in the world. Honestly,
I would definitely say so myself.
I think even people that really don't know much about cigars, if you tell them that Padron, they kind of heard it around the block.
It's that or Davidoff. So one of the two.
Davidoff and Padron. They're the granddaddies, I'd say, as far as the cigar world right now. Because you can pretty much find a Padron at any cigar shop, at any store, lounge. You can usually find a Padron.
Any high quality one, at least.
Yes, any high quality. Because if they're going to hold a high quality cigar, because they know they have some few customers that are going to buy some higher quality stuff, it's either going to be a Davidoff or a Padron. And weird thing about this used to be a TAA exclusive. They turned into a almost like an annual release.
Yes. It's honestly, I'm so happy they did.
Right.
Because I mean, I'm glad I get to experience this cigar. Now it's very difficult. Like a lot of people may not even know or even notice that there ever was one. I hadn't for a long time.
Right.
Just honestly, the first time I actually grabbed one was actually last year. I was in New Orleans. Actually, weirdly enough, I was in New Orleans, which is not too far from here in Baton Rouge. And I picked one up and I smoked it. And I wasn't even really aware. I knew the price point, but I knew I wanted this to celebrate and be in New Orleans. And
right.
And I smoked it, and I sat there. And again, I didn't even have like that initial hype in my brain. I just got it, and I was just sitting there like, I was by myself just chilling because the girls were all doing their girl thing,
as they are.
So, and I was like, I was sitting there just by myself, just losing my shit about how good this cigar was.
Yes, as you should, because it's one of those things. It's a treat. And if you're going to spend $40 on a single stick to smoke and basically smoke your money away, make sure it's something quality. And I think this is the quality that you're looking for. And I think it's pairing well with this Compass box, because on Compass box you have that sweet, but also you got that smokiness of that peat, and that smokiness is going to pair well with that smokiness of this dark, rich cigar. I think when you're looking to have something that goes along with your whiskey and cigar, or vice versa, you want something that complements each other. You don't want something that like subtracts from each other. You don't want something that clashes. And I think this only enhances each other.
Very much so. We have definitely noticed where
you heard that.
He took another lap around, by the way.
We had on the previous recording that didn't get released, we had a small PP man go drive down the road with a loud motorcycle because, compensation,
baby.
Anyway, back to what we were talking about before we were so rudely interrupted. is that, like he was saying, scotches, I think we found pair well, probably the best with cigars.
I think so. Yeah, exactly what you're saying was like, I think these peaty scotches are so good. But what I was going to say was what really drives some of those home is the sweeter ones. So like your Port Charlotte,
Arcor, Ardbeg on previous episode we done.
So there's a special edition of the Ardbeg. If you like everybody should know about that one.
Yes.
But there's a special version of that is just a little bit sweeter, not as harsh of that smoky, really peaty smell to it.
Yes.
So anything that has that sweeter note to it, that's what it just adds a little extra, just a little oomph to your cigar.
Yeah, that's the ones I gravitate to because I like peat, but I can't have nothing but peat. Even though one of my favorite scotch is actually a Port Charlotte heavily peated, and it's a 10-year, and it says heavily peated, which you'd think would just be smoke overload, like you wouldn't be able to handle it. No, it has this complex sweetness to it that is, I don't really know where it comes from because it is peaty, but I think you just find that sweetness is amazing.
It is phenomenal.
If you want to venture into the world of scotches, I think you're the best to do is go to some of their lower end compass boxes. It is well worth the find. They probably won't pick it up. There's a lawnmower going too, so this is a great day. But as far as the whiskey goes, what do you get on that first nose? Since you've opened it up.
Yeah, so I mean the first nose is going to be your smoky, but almost like vanilla, like almost like a custard essentially.
Yes.
You're going to have like those two notes kind of battling it out, which is honestly phenomenal. You're talking about, it's almost like you just got this vanilla, creme brulee, but it's been like also like been smoked a little bit on top of, so you get like a little bit, clashes of both. So with this, what's so cool also about Compass Box is that they will tell you everything that goes into this blend. So there's a whole diagram right here that they have on the website you can go look at. Some have it on their bottles, some has it on the website. You can do both. But to go ahead and tell you some of these whiskeys that's in here is mind blowing. It's a lot.
Yeah, we kind of went over this last night as far as what's in it.
Because we were geeking all over.
I was sitting there, I was like, are you serious? Are you still not done? Because it's so many.
There's 11 different, blends in this. And like just to like go over a few of them. Some of the big ones is like the big chunks of these is going to be Ardbeg is in here. They have a Port Dundas. You're going to have the Cambridge Distillery. You're going to have the Poltonary Distillery, the Koala Distillery. You're going to have the Parcel Delivery. Distillery. The delivery.
The delivery.
They're going to have, and I tell you, it delivers.
Yeah.
Highland Malt Whiskey, Elgin Whiskey is in there.
There's so much.
So much. And what's really cool, too, is that, the tippy top, when I said there was 4 tiers, there's 4 tiers of I feel like they're price points. And this is now the, the 4th tier, I like that price point. Like, this is almost $400. But on the top end of that 4th realm, they had this one called the Tobias and the Angel. It was like $1,000.
$1,000.
It was like, oh gosh, I know.
See that I would never spend on a bottle.
No,
if I'm being completely honest, unless I had the whole collection, and the last bottle I had to finish it out was that bottle. I'll just save up money until I bought that bottle.
Possibly.
That would be the only occasion.
I try.
See, because I know for someone at this seating arrangement had bought a certain bottle for a certain special occasion that might have been above that price point. No, not saying anybody's name or is close to it. It
was $700.
Yeah, close enough, right? Because no one in their right mind spends $70 on a bottle, but unless it's for a special occasion,
which I did,
and it's a once in a lifetime kind of purchase. Will he buy it again at that price? No.
Yeah, I had my wife sign off on it, so that was good.
She got the green light from the wife. What a rare W that is.
10-year anniversary, 10-year-old Pappy, and just and that's the creamery, the
cream to the crop.
Yep.
Of just
Buffalo Trace, celebrating that 10 years.
Bourbon world. That's
hey, any man who can stay with the same woman 10 years
is a
love her just as much as when you first met her.
Yeah,
you deserve that a special bottle.
You deserve a reward for the torture and pains you went through.
And all, of course,
Yeah,
all the good times.
He used it as an excuse to buy a bottle he's been wanting for years.
But that bottle I was telling you a minute ago, the Tobias and the Angel, it's also they actually put that, you know, some of the remnants of that bottle. So 2%, which I know is not a lot, but still 2%.
It's still 2%.
Of Tobias and the Angel is actually in this blend.
It's in this bottle, which is insane because typically when you have blends with bourbons or scotches or Irish or whatever, they probably use 3 to 4 blends tops typically. That's what I found. It's a lot less than what they use. They don't use double digits in a blend.
No.
Because the more you add into it, the more challenging it is to find a profile that you want. Because once you add something in, it changes it drastically. And you're going to keep doing that for 11 times, and you end up with this. That means you are masterful at what you do, and it is a miracle that they can come up with a product like this and be so palatable and drinkable. Because when you drink it, you first get that sweetness, and then that back burn peatiness goes all the way to the back of your palate, and it just like builds and builds, and it's nice.
Yeah,
it's absolutely nice. It kind of coats your mouth.
What's really cool about this one in particular too is that it's at 100 proof, so that's about a little high on their spectrum typically,
which is impressive for a blend, by the way.
Yes, and then so you get this really amazing lingering note that is always builds. Like it is actually a really, which is, I mean, you're always saying is it worth the price point? Of course not.
It's not. Honestly, no. It's because $300
the juice.
MSRP.
Obviously, the juice itself isn't.
There's a juice
once you start talking about the, you know, if you look at this as an art, you know, as well, you start getting closer to is it worth it? Because I have a, you know, essentially an art collection of Compass boxes at this point.
And it is an art collection. You're buying a Picasso, like you're buying these LEs. That's what it feels like.
Yes.
You're buying a high end piece of art. You walk to the art gallery, it's like, oh, that's fancy. They tell you the price. Oh, that's $400. Typically, I'd be like, I'll buy the copy that's unframed in the corner somewhere that's like $50.
Yeah.
And then frame it myself for $300, which just makes no sense. But we're here. That's a racket, by the way. Picture framing is a racket.
It is.
How you can charge $300 to frame something? All you're doing is putting a backing and a piece of wood around it. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway,
don't go down that tangent.
Side tangent.
I could too myself.
As far as the cigar with the whiskey, how do you think it's combining together? How you feel it's enhancing?
Incredibly. I think what you're getting out of there is just. I think the one thing that this kind of maybe doesn't lack, because you don't normally get a lot of oak in a lot of scotches. This is giving a lot of those hardwood, just oaky feels,
right?
Like really dense, just great oak, and that's kind of also supplementing that into your whiskey a little bit, so you're adding a little extra depth to your whiskey. But then the sweetness from this on that front end. Like the vanilla custard you're getting right there is adding building to the cigar, so you're really committing both back and forth. So it's I'm excited. I don't normally ever do a dip of this nature of this cigar in a whiskey of this nature, but
I think we'll have to do it.
We have to plunge the tips. That's part of the who we are.
Right.
What we do now. I've been coaxed to doing this, and I have actually truly have enjoyed. Well, they're really good ones.
Yes, because when you start to dip with a high-end whiskey with a high-end cigar, the experience is amazing. And we'll go to that dip right after this break. Oh, I hope you enjoyed that commercial break.
Yep.
Short and sweet, maybe commercial, maybe not. Maybe we're just sitting there in silence. But for you, it's quick. For us, we had some relief from the mosquitoes. I think we've kind of warned them off with all the smoke.
I think we have. I think we honestly, weirdly enough,
say that. Gotcha on my titty.
You want some of that titty milk?
Oh yeah, it's nice and voluptuous.
We're gonna get kicked. This is gonna get bad now.
It's gonna go into Rumble. That's all it is.
That's how I messed it up. But
like we said before the break, we plan on dipping the cigar. What are you looking forward to this dip?
This dip we're going to be doing here in a minute is I'm hoping it adds a lot of sweetness to it. The next thing we're going to see is a gator. We're going to see some gators coming out here, man.
I don't know about that.
Speaking of gators,
we are in New Orleans.
We're in New Orleans.
Why were you in New Orleans?
Man, we are bowling in the U.S.
Not we, he.
Oh yeah, you're right. I am bowling in the Bowling Nationals in Baton Rouge.
2025 Open nationals in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. But overall, it's been a great experience. It's been fun to spend the 4 or 5 days we've been down here. It's been enjoyable. We got an Airbnb. We're able to do this and go shop around some liquor stores out here, which have been some hit and misses.
So,
but there's been some dimes.
So let's throw some of those out there. So like I've already said, Martin's Liquor and Deli. They were
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I gave it 9 out of 10. That customer service lady was a little bit unknowledgeable, maybe even rude.
Slightly rude.
But
it's all how you take it. But other than that,
I really care about the prices.
Because 9 times out of 10, we're not really dealing with the customer service. We kind of know our stuff anyways. We just needed her to get onto the box that had the case that had these $high whiskeys.
I think she didn't like, that we were buying all their selection.
Yes, but I think the find of the trip so far has been in a meat market.
Yes, in a freaking meat market.
Which is basically a fancy gas station.
It wasn't no, not fancy.
Well, I'm saying, yeah.
It was
a fancy name for a gas station.
Hole in the so basically it was like an all-in-one weird little shop. I think it was Cardella's or Guardella's meat market. And so
yes,
somebody in the Bruzel chat, threw it out there. I said, I guess we'll go. And gosh darn it, I am so happy we went.
Yes,
they had a small selection, of course, but they had just
awesome finds. They had some Angel's Envy solo releases. They
had the brand new one,
the brand new Angel's Envy. It was like a special cask edition of Angel's Envy.
Yeah, it was the tequila barrel one.
Tequila barrel, and it was awesome. They had a one of the fancy decanters.
Yeah, the Calumet.
Calumet,
the little Calumet one that has like the whole little Calumet building, whatever.
Yes.
It's one of those. If you collect, fancy decanters, that's one that you got to have.
But I will say, the biggest find there was the one that he got, which is
it's a Chartreuse limited edition bottle
because he's been to France. So
I've been to Paris. Croissant.
If you didn't know,
I'm going to tell you.
It's a running joke.
Apparently, and I'm going to make sure you know all about it because it is pretty freaking awesome.
But I think he fell in love with Chartreuse when he was there.
Yeah. So I went to a restaurant and I saw this giant. I mean, I'm talking about giant. It was, those big old giant like wine bottles they crash into like these fancy.
Oh yeah, like the ones like for the yachts.
Yes. Literally, that's what he was doing. He was carrying a bottle like that. And it's funny because a little French guy, it's a little small French guy, and he literally is carrying a bottle almost as big as he is. And I'm like, so I stopped my waiter because the waiter was also phenomenal there. I was like, hey, what is that? It was a big old green bottle or something. She's like, oh, that's Chartreuse, and I was like, okay, what is it? Something I would like or something like that. And she was like, kind of explaining what it was. So I'm just going to pour you a little bit. I tried it. Oh my gosh!
If you had to describe Chartreuse to someone that's never had it before, what would you say the taste and profile of it is?
So, it is a very it's very unique. So I mean, if you it's almost hard not into it. Even
is it similar to gin?
Similar, but nothing really like it. So basically, what it kind of is like, it's still a high proof, liqueur. It is like 40 proof, something like that, or 45 proof. Wow. And you're looking at like the first of it, you're gonna get this little sweet. It's sweet, which is great. So it's a little sweet. Minty, little, that eucalyptus kind of, feel to it.
It's kind of, it's very herbally, but it has a sweet tone to it.
You're 100% right. The word really is like a sweet herbal drink, and so it's like an herbal liquor. Tea. Yeah, but yeah. So hilariously enough, as you say that, so Chartreuse. I know we're getting off the weeds with this topic, but it's pretty cool. Big fan of Chartreuse. But apparently, some ancient monks in a castle made this.
That's so cool.
So basically, one of the first iterations of it, it was this super concentrated version of it that was like 180 proof, something like that. And they wouldn't, of course, drink the whole thing. They would actually add a couple of drops to their tea.
That makes sense.
I actually bought one of those really condensed versions of it.
Oh, that's cool.
Two drops into my tea.
Strong as shit.
I have tried to buy some on my tea. But
on that note, something that you found at the meat market at the gas station, the hole in the wall,
was a limited edition.
A limited edition version of that. It came in a nice wood box.
I've seen it on a shelf at a super high end bar, but I've never. And then $100 for a pour for it. By the way,
That's insane.
I'm already like, oh, this is
that's like your Pappy pour prices.
So when we started asking some of the price points, some of these things, all MSRP. If not, maybe a smidge
higher, but not high.
Some was low. So like it's just kind of like a hit or miss.
Say the MSRP is 125, they're charging maybe 135, 140.
Yeah. So it's on some, but I think even the chartreuse though, the MSRP on that, it's like, well, I don't know about the MSRP, but I know like the market right now is stupid. It's like $300 or more. And it was like 200.
Yeah, you got like $100 off on a bottle.
It's a liter
that
too.
You can't even find. Yeah, it's a liter bottle, so it's even extra value in it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty awesome.
That's some of the finds you can find in New Orleans. I think they are limited on liquor stores, but there are some good finds in certain areas and certain locations.
I'd always would check a couple of your because again, like Louisiana, I know we're not used to it because we're in Alabama, we're controlled state. You know, supermarkets can have liquor, so we went to a couple of liquor markets. I'm sorry, supermarkets that had liquor in them.
Like Rouse's down here is a very popular supermarket, which is a fantastic supermarket. Like if you live in this area, you don't go to Rouse's, what are you doing with your life? Because their quality of food there is astronomical. They have dry aged steak there, dried meats that they've dried out with dry aged with Bullet Rye whiskey, and it looks amazing. I wish I could have bought some and cut some steaks up and grilled it. It just looked absolutely amazing.
Super good.
There are definitely some rare finds in New Orleans. I think it's worth a trip down here. Make sure you bring plenty of sunscreen and bug repellent and a towel to wipe all the sweat off, because you sweat as soon as you walk out the door.
I always say if you're going to go to New Orleans, go in the spring or the fall. Try to avoid the summer.
Yeah, we're right in the mid of summer, and it is it's hot.
In the beginning, yeah.
Right now we're kind of in the shade, which is nice.
Yes, yeah. It's actually it's
manageable.
It's very bearable right now.
I'm not sweating or smelling right now. This is great.
Yeah.
But going back to what we were talking about with the LE, I think we should do a plunge real quick and see what the experience we get on the plunge in our tip.
Let's do a bougie plunge.
Bougie plunge.
Oh man, a $40 cigar going into a really expensive whiskey. It's kind of hurting a little bit inside.
Ooh.
But I'm trying to get in there because that's the only bad thing about a Glencairn with the dip. You can't. It's hard. I
definitely recommend plunging your tip when you have a little bit more cigars, so you have a little bit farther to hold, and so you can dip it better, or have just not a Glencairn, just a regular rocks glass. But I think that this plunge is fucking fantastic. It brings out the sweetness out of the cigar, but enhances the tannins in the cigar, where you get that espresso. It's almost like a latte in the cigar now with that.
I would say I mean, I was trying to figure out exactly, because it did bring out the sweetness of the whiskey kind of came out first, but then, like you said, the wrapper, the oldness of that wrapper, comes on the tip. So you do get a little bit of the tannins of the wrapper that gives you this really, like you just sipped an espresso. That's basically what you're kind of feeling like a
high quality espresso.
It hasn't been one of my favorite dips in the world, but it's a very interesting dip. Like I said, and
it's definitely worth the plunge. I would highly recommend it.
Always, it's a very controversial.
I'm more the fan of the plunging tips always.
Yeah, I think it's a fun experience to try to do. Like I said, it's something that you can do. That's like sometimes with some cigars, when you get down to a midpoint, the levels, the flavors of the cigar kind of tarnishes a little bit. You're gonna end up build up of all that,
tar and everything.
So whenever you can,
it gets a little hot too.
Yes.
So some plunge tip kind of cools off that tip a little bit, and kind of reawakens that cigar to a degree. You're starting to lose a little bit.
Actually, you smoke fast.
Yes, I do smoke relatively quick. I will say that I'm a big supporter of plunging tip always, no matter what, because not even have the chance to experience something new with a plunge, because it's a different experience when you're smoking something and drinking something that you love. It just enhances. It's not going to hurt the cigar. It's not going to hurt the whiskey. If anything, it's going to enhance the experience. Some people are a little bit more prudish on what they use to dip with, which is fine. It's all fair in the love and war.
Yeah, my thing is that sometimes, we have had it where the plunge didn't add anything.
Yeah, but
eventually that alcohol does burn off, and you get back to basically the basics of that cigar.
Yes, so
it's a fun little experiment.
Like a dose of it.
But the reason why that I am more of a believer is that we've had some that I would put on like super top tier, like a 100% do it. You get like some orange creme brulee sometimes.
One you didn't experience was the rum that me and Devin did. And that experience, y'all probably seen the episode already because this one's probably coming later on after that. It was a sweet banana experience we used with a dark cigar and the Hampton LRK special release rum. It was absolutely amazing. And a lot of people, more people do it than you realize. You have celebrities do it like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's the cigars, he dips them in tequila. And he had a guy that prepped the cigars for him, he dipped it in tequila. And that's why you always smoke the cigars now is after it's been dipped in tequila.
You have cigars that are infused with, any kind of whiskey liquor of some sort, and they put them in these little,
like the little sweet tip. That's like they had that whiskey sweet tip cigar. I can't remember the name of it.
I'm not sure of that one, but I've had. My dad bought a Gurkha that was aged in Louis XIII cask.
That's insane.
Stuff, which is unbelievable, insane. And it was pretty cool.
Hopefully, it made a Gurkha better. Gurkha's hit and miss for me. Mostly,
they are, of course. So, with some brands, they're gonna be there.
Yes.
Gurkha with.
But if you like Gurkha, that's you, and at least you can get a lot of cigars.
If you like a Gurkha, share some Gurkha recommendations.
Yes. Comment down below. Tell me what your favorite Gurkha is, and I'll try it out if I haven't already. And
we've had a couple, and I've had a couple that I've liked. I've had more that I haven't liked. But
listen, I'm not afraid to try another cigar and to try to experience something new that I might like.
You can tell me to smoke.
You tell me to go buy a cigar and try it. Man, that's something I already do already.
Take me with a good time.
Right. I think this has been a fantastic experience. We're past halfway on the cigar. We're probably to the last third of the cigar, and I think that the flavor is still holding up. Is not feel like it's been burnt out. Doesn't feel like it's getting hard to smoke. It's still drawn. Really, really nice.
This is one of the few cigars where I will smoke it down to the nub because it really honestly does not diminish in flavor. If not, builds and changes and elevates each other. It's right. As you keep smoking it.
Right.
So sometimes that tannin builds down and you get to a point where it's either a one note cigar or it's just doesn't smoke well, past a certain point. There is nothing but high quality tobacco throughout this whole thing. Of course, that's what you expect from a $40 cigar.
100%. And I think with a lot of times the problem with Maduros and in general is if you smoke it, you feel like you're done smoking cigars for a while, or at least you're going to go to another darker cigar. With this one, I feel like I can even go down a cigar and not feel like I'm losing a lot, like a sun grown or something. It doesn't feel like it's destroying my palate, if that makes sense.
100%.
Sometimes when you smoke a dark Maduro, it can kind of tarnish your palate to where you're kind of burnt out and you can't really taste your whiskey or certain type of foods. And that's just part of the experience. I would always recommend starting with light and then go to dark. But if you're going to go dark, stay dark. That's using my rule of thumb. But with this one, it feels like you can kind of go back down a little bit.
Once you go black, you can't go back. Is that what you're saying?
I guess. Once you go black, you can't go back. Josh Trenti. Certified. But no, this has been a great experience. I think this whiskey is by far one of my favorite Compass boxes. Would I spend the money on it? My vote is no, because I'm not the collector in the Compass box.
My thing is that, and again, even for me, like I've been saying no to this thing for as long as it's been out, which has been out for I think a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And I've been I'm not gonna get it. No, I'm not gonna get it. And then at this point, I mean, I'm probably looking around 25 Compass box bottles at this point, probably.
He's got a lot.
And I just think it just adds another layer for my shelf in particular, because I mean, I have a great selection. I'm not a collection, selection. What we say.
Yeah, if you're a collector, by far.
Because again, I mean, I pop these bottles. I mean, I don't want to sit there and not drink it.
Is the juice worth the squeeze? The thing you got to ask yourself every time you go to buy whiskey. Is the juice worth the squeeze? If it's worth you to buy this bottle at this price, then it's worth it. It's all in your eyes of the beholder.
100% agree to that. I would say if you were, of course, not many you're going to say it's going to be something you would grab towards.
Right.
I would say a suggestion I would say is I would go on the low end spectrum of a Compass box of this kind of same flavor profile. I would go the P Monster, of course, out of the four, because it's going to be the closest to the taste profile to this. And if you want to go one level above that, I would then suggest the new bottle that just came out, the Secrets of Smoke.
Secrets of Smoke, yes.
Because that's going to be, honestly, I was looking at some of the profiles of the same stuff that's in there. It's not as crazy, not as drastic, crazy blend as this one is, but it's still a lot of similar whiskeys and distilleries that are made up of this.
Yeah, so, and it's a cool fucking bottle. It looks awesome. Yeah. Like, it's a showstopper. If someone walks into your house, unless your whiskey collection, they're going to be gravitated to these bottles, especially the black one, because it just stands out different than any other bottle I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've getting to the point where I have some buddies that aren't really versed into whiskey at all, and they always kind of gravitate towards the Compass box because of how beautiful the labels are. I even give them like, hey, you know just because whiskey is meant to be shared, I give everybody like, hey, usually I get an opportunity like, hey, we're having a great fellowship here. That's what we do at Whiskey Talk, fellowship. Or Whiskey Tobacco Fellowship, right. And so, if we're having a great fellowship, I want to have them have an experience. So I let them grab it. Hey, just pick any bottle. Well, that's what we'll drink, or you can drink some of that. And then they almost always go grab a Compass box
because you eat with your eyes.
Yep.
Like they always say, the first thing you're going to look at
great marketing
is you look with your eyes, and that's what's supposed to sell your product because you don't know what that tastes like until you open it, and you can't open it until you buy it.
Unless you wanted to tell you what to buy, which that's what we're here for.
Right, that's what we're here for. Same thing with cigars. That's why I'm a huge advocate of a great look of the cigar and the wrapper. That's what's going to sell your cigar and what's inside of it, because you can't smoke it until you buy it. But if
a great marketing mind once told me, Eric Parkinson, said that
here's that guy, no guy.
I think he's a pretty cool guy. I like him. I like him a lot. I think so.
I guess as a grandpa, he's pretty cool.
But he says that a label, is for a cigar. You'll buy it the first time. But with the tobacco itself, will make you buy it again.
Exactly.
So I am paraphrasing that, of course. He says it was some debutante, demure,
very demure
way of saying it, of course, because he is, of course, the a rep for a particular cigar brand.
Someone that we are very fond of, and we kind of shill for all the time, which is my father. That's just because they make high quality products
and
that we enjoy.
Beautiful
labels. It's their label, I think, is probably some of the top in the game as far as labels. They are always beautiful.
Yeah. So, like I said, another one of those where you just eat with your eyes, and you're going to grab that cigar.
If you got to go buy a cigar and you're looking for one that's for a special occasion, look for the Padron Black. You will not be disappointed.
No. This is 100% recommend, even at the price point's at. And then my Compass box selections, I already told you about those. And if you have an opportunity to be able to just have a pour of this, 100% recommend doing it as well.
Yeah. So if you enjoyed the episode, we are in a Discord, Archify Discord. Josh over here is the admin, Smokey the Baron.
Smokey D. Baron.
I'm a mod in there, Sir Metal Knight, and Devin, that's not here sadly, is the owner of the Discord, Archifier. In the Discord, in the comments down below, list what your favorite Padron is, and one of your favorite Darkos, like we talked about earlier.
Or also, if you what is your favorite smoky Scotch or smoky whiskey that you have?
We're always looking for new reasons to pull another Scotch out to be able to drink with a cigar.
Yeah. We're always looking for an excuse to buy something.
Yeah, that's our favorite thing to do. And make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube. We're on all major platforms: Apple, Rumble, anywhere you can find the podcast. We're available. YouTube, anything. Just make sure you hit that like button or down button. If you don't like it, it is what it is.
It helps the algorithm.
You might no matter what. Have fine taste, but there it is. Anyways, it's been a nice, exciting episode of Whiskey
Tobacco Fellowship.
Have a good one.
Deuces.